Marhainal daw, Bagong Pilipinas. Live po ninyo kaming napapanood ngayon sa RTVM and PCO Facebook pages para tunghayan ang magiging pagbisita ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. dito sa maugmang lugar, ang Naga City. Sa pagdating ng Pangulo kanina, siya ay sinalubong ng alkalde ng Naga, ang dating Vice President, Mayor Leni Robredo. Kasama rin ang Pangulo, sina Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development Secretary, Engineer Jose Ramon Ping Aliling, Special Assistant to the President, Antonio Ernesto Lagdameo, at ni Department of Public Works and Highways, Secretary Vivencio Vince Dizon. Para nga po silipin ang ginagawang Oplan Kontrabaha Operations sa Bicol River Basin. At para bigyan tayo ng mas malalimang kaalaman kung ano nga ba itong Oplan Kontrabaha, makakapanayam natin si Engineer Vincent John Nicer, ang Oplan Kontrabaha Task Force Secretariat. Marahay na aga po sa iyo, sir.
Ang umaga, ma'am. Thank you po for that introduction.
Sir, ano po ba itong Oplan Kontrabaha at ano po ba yung mga interventions na ginagawa ng DPWH?
Alright, basically po yung Oplan Kontrabaha ay yung mga short-term action plans na ini-implement po ng ating government para mabawasan yung pagbaha sa mga communities. No? Specifically, it includes yung paglilinis ng mga drainages na clog ng putik at ng mga basura, pagpapaluwag o pag-clear ng mga ilog na marami na ring sedimentation, pagre-restore ng mga silang pumping stations, pag-clear po ng mga illegal structures na nakaharang sa ating existing waterways, at saka pag-i-implement ng proper waste management sa mga communities natin. Basically, to give our audience an overview po, since the 1950s or in the past decades, we have been constructing our drainage systems and waterways. But for how many years, nagbara na sila ng mga siltation and basura. So it's about time that we also focus not just on the construction but on the maintenance of these existing waterways. So yung paglilinis at pag-restore, yun po yung Oplan Kontrabaha.
Sir, bakit sir itong Naga yung napiling pilot site ng programa para dito sa Bicol River Basin?
I think napakagandang tanong yan. No? Magandang bigyan natin ng clarification. If you look at the structure of the Bicol River Basin, lahat po ng mga tubig na nanggagaling sa mga bundok at sa mga high elevation areas, bumabagsak po yan sa iba-ibang lakes at eventually through the Bicol River discharging to the San Miguel Bay. Ngayon po, somewhere along the way, makikita po natin na yung Bicol River ay lumiko papunta sa Naga City. So kung yung pong mga ulan galing sa itaas ay liliko papuntang Naga at sasamahan pa ng ulan na galing naman sa Mount Isarog, magmi-meet po yan sa Naga City. So Naga City was identified to be one of the flood-prone areas. And also we have to remember na medyo limited po ang resources natin. So we have to strategically deploy them across the entire river basin. No? And isa po sa mga criteria natin for deployment is to find an area where given the limited resources, pinakamaraming magbe-benefit. And in Naga City, it's a highly urbanized city. So, pasok po siya sa criteria na number of beneficiaries should be marami para mag-deploy po.
At saka sir, matatandaan natin nga po noong October 2024 ay malaki nga po yung naging yung kalala po yung naging sitwasyon dito ng pagbaha dahil sa severe tropical storm Christine.
Yes, I actually saw that in media. No? Meron pa kaming isang operator na lumalangoy para i-save yung heavy equipment namin. And of course, yung mga tao, yung mga residents, they were flooded for not just one day but many days.
At ito nga po yung Sagup Creek kasi I think 5 po ata yung mga barangays or towns ang sakop po nito, which is yun nga po, kung malapit nga po siya sa mga waterways, madali nga pong magbaha.
Nakikita po natin yung Sagup Creek na nililinis ng heavy equipment ng DPWH. No? If you look at the map of Naga, actually, Naga City, it's one of the, if not the only, one of the main drainage lines na nagko-connect from yung water from residential areas as well as the business areas. So doon pumupunta yung tubig and eventually it would discharge to the Bicol River and would be flushed to the San Miguel Bay. So importante na ma-address, maunang malinis itong Sagup Creek kasi yun yung magde-determine nung yung effectivity nung flood control natin sa Naga City.
Sir, ano po ba yung mga pangunahing problema na nakikita po natin kung bakit nagkakaroon nga po ng heavy siltation, nagkakaroon ng pagbara ito dito nga po sa mga main waterways po natin?
Alright, that's a very good question, Kat. let's classify first ano yung mga bumabara sa ating waterways. Number one is basura. So, yung mga basura po ng tao, not just within the Naga City, but also in the communities upstream, those eventually nag-mix and clog the drainages dito. I think for Naga City naman, nakita ko malinis yung city relatively sa iba, so hindi siya ganong problem. But for other areas na nagkaroon ng Oplan Kontrabaha, siltation has been the problem. Siguro dito sa screen natin, tinuturo na ni Secretary Vince yung plan kay President Marcos kung ano yung mga gagawin nating interventions. But aside from the solid waste, yung sedimentation, yung mga putek, yung lupa, actually partner galing din to sa bundok eh. So if you see the concept of flooding is a systemic problem. Hindi lang siya problem ng water, too much water, but also too much sediments blocking the drainages. Isang reason yan yung deforestation. So kung napuputol na yung mga puno sa mga bundok natin due to urban development, mas malakas na rin yung erosion and therefore yung siltation sa ating mga rivers. And when siltation occurs, kapag nagkaroon ng mga lupa-lupa dyan, then vegetation would follow. So, tutubo na rin dyan yung mga damo, mga maliliit na halaman. Eventually, parang domino effect siya that would add up to the blocking of waterways. And of course, yung pinaka man-made dito, yung talagang nagtatayo na yung mga tao. Kasi nga din, nag-dry up na or may lupa na doon. Nagtayo na rin sila ng mga bahay nila doon and sometimes sila yung mga napag-iwanan, yung sector ng lipunan na napag-iwanan. They would tend to occupy these areas na hindi dapat. So over time, since the construction of these waterways, yun yung mga napabayaan natin na Oplan Kontrabaha tends to address ngayon sa 21st century.
Ngayon nga sir, kasi dito sa pagbaha sa Naga City, naging widespread nga po yung epekto nito. Paano po ba na-determine ng DPWH na ito yung mga areas, ito yung mga riverways na kailangan i-rehabilitate? I mean, gumamit po ba tayo ng mga LiDAR, yung mga ganong geomapping po?
Yeah, in terms of planning, the conventional approach would be to base it on hydrological maps, no consultation with the academe, yung experts natin, sila Dr. Tabios Lagmay, Yusek CP David ng DENR. So that was the conventional approach through planning and using software, advanced software ngayon, and even AI, artificial intelligence, and simulation. But for the Bicol River Basin project for Oplan Kontrabaha, we are actually proud to say that in addition to that existing conventional approach, we have gathered the different municipal disaster risk reduction and management office through the help of the provincial government. So we had them attend a particular workshop, and altogether we have identified the strategic sites for deployment. Sinasabi ko strategic partner kasi limited din naman yung resources natin to be deployed all throughout the entire of the region. So aside from the scientific scientific aspect and software, we have actually recognized the value of inputs of actual human experience. If you notice yung participants ng workshops na yon, hindi lang sila usually yung mga engineerings. We have invited the disaster risk reduction management officers kasi yan yung mga nakakaalam saan talaga yung lugar na binabaha. And even by plain common sense, without in-depth scientific study, ma-identify natin alin yung makakatulong mabawasan yung baha by just simply cleaning or deploying small equipment para malinis. Yeah.
So very intuitive nga talaga sir kasi parang whole of nation approach.
Whole of nation approach,
You consult with the academe, with the communities talaga, with the LGUs.
Exactly, and I think in many other different government projects that we have seen, for example, Pasig River Rehabilitation Commission, Manila Bay Restoration Project, and now this Oplan Kontrabaha. I think one important lesson is that we recognize yung social impact, not just the data or the monitoring results na meron tayong figures, 100%, 80%. But we also have to really consult with the community because eventually they are the ultimate giver of feedback.
Mm-hmm. Sir, aside dito, naalala ko sir kasi nung bumisita po ang Pangulo dito noong October 2024 during the severe tropical storm Christine, nabanggit po ng ating Pangulo during his Regional Development Council meeting na bisitahin muli yung Bicol River Basin Development Program na naudlot, I think that was in 1986, but it was actually formulated 1976. Could you tell us more about that? Ano
Yes.
po ba yung update natin doon?
I think it was conceptualized as early as 1973 during the time of then former President Marcos, Ferdinand Marcos Sr. The problem with that plan is that usually po kasi sa mga engineering, ang kino-consider natin na return period is a period of 50 years. Meaning yung design ng structures mo should withstand whatever change would happen or whatever extreme event would happen in the next 50 years. Kaya lang, if that started in the 1970s, it's now 2026. Kumbaga, expired na siya. And it needs further studies and updating para ma-incorporate po natin yung climate change, integrated water management systems, at saka yung sea level rise and many other factors. Yung integrated water resource management systems po kasi, Ms. Kat, is we're looking at a flood, not just something harmful, but perhaps if we can just properly manage it, building of dams upstream, then we could actually use the water for electricity through hydropower, water resource for irrigation, water resource for utilities dito sa cities, and also even tourism. So kung sakaling ma-address natin yan. And so yun po yung update sa Bicol River Basin Management.
And that's the long-term solution,
Yes, that's the long-term solution. So part po yun ng comprehensive master plan. But actually yung Oplan Contra Baha po, yung short-term interventions natin are actually part and parcel of that entire plan. So now we can immediately implement while waiting for enough funding and enough resources and studies para po dun sa ating long-term master plan.
Well, actually, sir, itong Oplan Contra Baha, hindi naman siya nag-start lang ngayon, di ba? I think it has been in operation since 2025, last year.
Yes, we actually have a lot of Oplan Contra Baha projects, and we have launched 3 last year. In 2025, we have launched the Greater Metro Manila on November 12, and then we went to Metro Cebu on November 21, and then Bacolod City on December 12. So there were 3, and this is the 4th actually, nag-start ng February 21 dito po sa Naga City. We also have other upcoming events. Tentatively, yung Tuguegarao City in the province of Cagayan would be next week. And then we have ongoing coordination with the government or provincial government of Rojas City and Iloilo in Panay Island. That's Region 6. And then Buluan, the municipality of Buluan in the province of Maguindanao. That's in Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao already, but the government is extending its Oplan Contra Baha activities doon. And we have ongoing coordination also with Bulacan and Pampanga, and then Pangasinan and Ilocos area that would soon to be launched. And of course, Cagayan de Oro City. And yung most recent, Ms. Kat, is yung Iligan City, who has just been recently devastated by yon. And we want to help that. So we're trying to include that in our schedule po.
So nationwide po itong ginagawa nating Oplan Contra Baha. A short-term mitigating measures.
Yes,
At
Ms.
least
Kat. It's nationwide. So Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, different areas. And actually, we have received a lot of requests then for other areas. I think there was one in Eastern Samar requesting then for deployment or launching of Oplan Contra Baha. And among those areas, iba-iba rin yung problems and terrains na na-encounter namin. Merong something coastal, merong valley type, and I think yung Hipapad would be an interesting case kasi upland pero may flooding. So
ibang kaso yun, sir.
Ibang klase rin, iba-iba yung exposure. We're actually also learning from this Oplan Contra Baha.
Tapos, sir, kasi ang ginagawa po ng Oplan Contra Baha is with the help of the DPWH. Yes. Dinadala po ninyo yung mga specialized equipment.
Yes.
And not just that, and yung tao po to operate those equipment.
Yes. Ms. Kat, most of the Oplan Contra Baha workshop, most of the Oplan Contra Baha activities na ginagawa natin spearheaded by DPWH using heavy equipment owned by the DPWH. But I would like to mention that in Metro Manila, no, specifically San Miguel Corporation has provided assistance to sa mga heavy equipment. They spent a lot to assist us. Kasi of course we recognize that in the private sector, yung kanilang operational framework is really efficient. It's really fast to procure and to deploy resources. Kaya they actually helped a lot dun sa clearing sa Metro Manila.
Sir, aside dito sa Sagop Creek, meron pa pong pupuntahan ng ating Pangulo, yung Magaya-Gaya Creek?
Yeah, Magaya-Gaya Creek is also, I think, somewhere din dito sa Naga. The former Vice President and now Naga City Mayor, Leni Robredo, wanted to show the President yung case ng informal settlers because, you know, if we are in the office in the palace, for example, iba yung nare-receive nating reports versus we actually see the problems on the ground. So I think ang major problem sa Magaya-Gaya is yung the presence of a lot of informal settlers, no. Itong ganitong klaseng issue would require interagency coordination,
yes, so
because we want to have a sustainable approach in addressing them.
That's why we have the SUD.
Yes,
for
yes,
the
yes.
illegal settlers, diba?
To provide housing, assistance in relocation, and other necessary support para ma-clear yon. And of course, when the President sees the situation on the ground, he would also be able to immediately and direct the concerned agencies to work on it.
Kanina nga rin po, sir, bago pumunta dito ang Pangulo, pinuntahan niya rin po yung Jesse Robredo Coliseum na isang evacuation site. So I think more than that, kailangan din ng tulong yung mga ganong para at least whole approach. You have the pagpapalinis ng creek and at the same time evacuation sites para at least may matinong matutuluyan ng ating mga evacuees.
Yeah, addressing flooding is one thing, and the response is also another thing. So aside from addressing the flooding, minsan kasi with limited resources, we cannot completely eradicate it. So we also have to reinforce yung mechanisms to address yung mga evacuation centers natin, pag-inventory ng relief goods and other things. We also have to make sure that those things are present para during the times na merong pang flood and there are enough resources para sa kanila. Yung Oplan Contra Baha naman, I think to manage also the expectations of all the citizens, it does not promise to 100% eradicate the flooding, but at the very least, yung duration ng flooding is ma-minimize. So kung dati it would take days, probably if it would take a few hours or minutes, that would be really very good na for everyone. So ayan po, the tall guy in vest is actually the task force commander of Oplan Contra Baha. We have Undersecretary Charles T. Calima Jr., who is also a former PNP general, by the way. Siya po yung nag-spearhead sa DPWH ng
who leads the task force of Contra Baha.
Yes, the task force of Contra Baha. And then we have Mayor Leni in her signature color.
Ngayon nga po nakikita natin na magkakaroon na po ng media statement ang ating Pangulo. So punto po ito, ating pakinggan po ang magiging mensahe niya.
These are the beginnings of the perennial na flood problem here in Naga and in the rest actually of along the Bicol River. Alam naman natin, ito basin. At maraming mga construction, hindi lamang yung private sector construction, kundi ang pagpagawa nito ng mga iba't ibang yung linipat ang dinaanan ng tubig, kaya naging mas grabe. Isa pang bagay, yung nagsiltation talaga ng husto, kaya kung titignan ninyo, napakababaw na nitong ilog na ito. And with ang sinasabi nga ni Mayor Leni is that many of the places na dati naman ay hindi binabaha, and dyan na rin yung effect ng climate change. Kaya this is what we are trying to remedy. Malaking trabaho ito. It will take time, but marami na tayo mga intervention na pwedeng gawin, such as the pools that we are going to put up. But tawag nila yung retention pond para mabawasan para mabawasan natin yung pagbaba ng tubig. Dahil nga it is may Bicol River Basin, ang plano na talaga pwede natin gawin, na kailangan natin gawin, ay kailangan natin mahuli, dapat ma-collection na yung tubig bago pa bumaba sa basin. Dahil, again, as Mayor Lenny was explaining, this is a landlocked province. And because it's a landlocked province, ang tagal lumabas ng tubig. So wag na natin sana papasukin. But this is only the beginning. Ito, desiltation lamang ito. At hindi naman ito, kagaya ng mga ginagawa natin sa ibang lugar, this is not going to be one time. We will keep doing this until we have the more long-term solutions. At hopefully, down the road, if we design everything properly, hindi na natin kailangan paulit-ulit ng binabalik-balikan. Okay? All right.
Mr. President, flood control issue. Nakikita po ang visit ninyo sa Naga City in the lens of politics. Are you open to forging alliance with Naga City?
Alam mo, hindi namin pinag-uusapan yun. Alam mo, I think the mayor will agree with me na serbisyo muna bago politika. The most political thing that we did today, I wore my pink socks. My pink socks in honor of Mayor Lenny.
President, sabi po kasi na
No, we have been planning this for a few months already. Because talagang naging critical ito especially with the storms that came in. Then I already instructed Sec Vince and Sec Ping to look at the situation here. Because, we know that Bicol is always the pathway of the storms, but the immediate problem that we saw, the change in pattern that we saw, is yung bigat ng bagsak ng ulan. Dati hindi naman ganun karami. You got 700 in one day, 700 centimeters of rain in one day. Ano yung katumbas ng 6 na buwan yun?
Kumpas po siya sa Ondoy and Yolanda.
Yeah, that's very significant, and that's why it became critical. So we did not discuss. Serbisyo muna bago politika. Marami pang kailangan gawin. Marami pa kaming kailangan gawin. So we will get to that. Aabot din tayo doon. Again, politics. Nothing really. That's her choice.
Mr. President, how about the willingness of Senator Amy to run alongside?
Again, this is all politics. We're not going to discuss politics now. We are talking. What we are here for is to try and find solutions to this very important problem, very critical problem that we have not only here in Naga City but also in Kamsur, and for that matter, for the whole of Bicol. That's what we are concentrating on. We don't change. Whatever kung sinong, it's not only here kung sino ang nangangailangan ng tulong, the national government is here to help. So as you know, I came from local government, kaya I have great sympathy for the situations of local government, the different constituencies, the cities, the provinces, the towns, the municipalities. Kaya whoever comes to us for help, we will do what we can to help. There is not an increase, there is not a decrease, it's not political, it's only because it depends on the need. And that's why we are here today. All right? Sige. Well, I'm sure we will inspect it when it's further when the project is further along. We'll bring you back here, especially Maharlika Highway, because yun ang. In fact, many of the problems were identified because of our inspection of the Maharlika Highway rehabilitation and repair. Doon marami talagang nakita. Dinapitan tayo ng national government, ng mga local, at sinabi, pagka natignan na ninyo yung Maharlika, doon na tayo, tignan naman ninyo yung baha. And that's what happened. Okay, maraming salamat. Thank you. Good morning.